transformative impact on my life. And the reason that I went was because I was looking for something. I'm one of 7 children that my mother took in as foster kids. And I was a problem child. Next slide. And I was always getting into trouble. Mama took in Wesley and I, my twin brother. He's 5 minutes older than I am. I always looked out for Wesley. He went out first, and I heard a slap, and he screamed, and I came out looking for him, and they grabbed me. Isn't she beautiful? Yes. Yes, yes. She only had a 3rd grade education, and she never had any children, and she always wanted to raise a child. And my birth mother, I started on this stage because of 2 women. One gave me life, and the other one gave me love. God took me out of my biological mother's womb and placed me in the heart of my adopted mother. And so I wanted to take care of her. I told Mama, what is it, Leslie? Mama did domestic work on Miami Beach. She worked for wealthy families, and she cooked for them and weighed the food left over from the families that she cooked for. She kept our children, and we wore their hand-me-down clothes. And I would go around these big, beautiful mansions and saw the beautiful art. And I said, Mama, what is it, Leslie? When I become a man, I'm going to buy you a big, beautiful home just like this. How many have somebody special you'd like to do something for? Raise your hands, please. I want you to think about that. And so that was a major goal of mine, to do that. And at the time, it appeared to be, to my other brothers and sisters, an impossibility. Next slide, please. You know, Dr. Martin Seligman, in the most exhaustive study on self-esteem, he said, what you're exposed to and what you see and what you hear and what you experience between the ages of 0 and 5, you're a sponge then. Between 0 and 5, you develop in your heart a yes or a no. And that's Wesley and I eating sugar cane. Y'all eat sugar cane here in Oregon? Y'all don't know anything about sugar cane. All right, yeah, you're going to want something after I get through. But you can tell I was doing a tour years ago with 45. And President Trump is arguing with a press person saying, my father only gave me $14 million for my dream. How many of you had $14 million that would be your dream? You know? My mom only gave us 2 pieces of sugar cane. We were so poor the roaches left. They said, we out of here. Y'all don't have nothing going on up in here, you know? And my mama could bake a good sweet potato pie, though. My mama could bake a sweet potato pie so good you couldn't eat it with your shoes on. You had to take your shoes off so you could wiggle your toes. And so I was a mama's boy. Mama would take me to work with her. And I had this dream and this vision of buying her a home. And I would shine Mr. Swiderski's shoes. I was about 6 or 7 then. And let us say together, interruption. Interruption. Together, interruption.
Interruption.
How many of you have had an interruption in your life? Raise your hands, please. And some interruptions are positive, am I right? Yeah. So, Austin, guess what? I'm shining his shoes up, hearing these words by Earl Nightingale. You don't get in life what you want. You get in life what you are. We become what we think about. Jim Rohn, when the end comes for you, let it find you conquering a new mountain, not sliding down an old one. Zig Ziglar, if you give enough people what they want, they will give you what you want. And unbeknownst to me, as I was shining his shoes, he was expanding my vision of myself. Be ye not conformed to this world, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. If there's one thing I want you to write down. It is mental resolve. Write it down. Mental resolve. Yeah. See, I believe that right now, and the reason I want you to videotape me, the reason why I'm going to give you something as a gift, if you agree that you will play it in your car around your children and you'll send it to your family members and friends, over $1,200 worth of recorded material. I want to give it to you so that you can, we have the technology now, we can email it to people. And all you have to do is say, send me the Mind Power CDs. It's a variety, it's a collection of them. And as you listen to them, I want you to hold a vision in your mind of the goal that you want to achieve. And I want to do an experiment with you. I want you to think about this goal for 90 days. I want you to get a 3x5 card. And on one side, I want you to write, and this is what I did. I give thanks that I purchased this home. I saw a home that I wanted to get for my mother. And I wrote it in the affirmative. I give thanks. We must call forth those things that be not as though they were. That I've purchased this home for my mother, fully furnished and everything paid for. And then on the flip side, I wrote Matthew 7:7, ask and it shall be given, seek and ye shall find, knock and it shall be open unto you. For everyone that asketh receiveth, he that seeketh findeth, to him that knocketh it shall be open unto them. And I encourage you to read that a minimum of 3 times a day. Why? Because if you don't program your mind, you will be programmed by life. There's so much negativity. There's more platforms of communication than ever before. And there's less communication between people. Families go out and everybody's looking at their phone. When I came up, we had 3 channels, ABC, CBS, NBC. I'm not making this up. When I was coming up, you know, you looked at I Love Lucy. Oh, Lucy, you know it. Jimmy and Randy, good night. Good night. Good night. Good night, Miss Calabish, wherever you are. Millennials, they don't know anything about it. This is when television was television. Yeah. Jackie Gleason, one of these days, pow! Right in the nose. That was right before the Me Too movement. Everybody. I'm telling you, come on. I'm not making this stuff up. This television, Gunsmoke, you know. Oh my God, he never lost a fight, you know. And so, but during this time, this period of my life, I had focus. Let us say together, focus. See, I believe the reason that 99% of people are not reaching their goals is because of distractions. We're distracted in so many ways. And in order for you to reach your goal, it's got to be the foremost thing in front of your mind. Because there will be things that will tell you, you can't do that. When I thought about buying a home for my mother, my brothers and sisters said, you can't do that. Family members and friends said, you can't do that. And so you have to focus, because they don't know you like that to tell you what you can't do. The people that do tell you that, including yourself. You don't know enough about yourself to be a cynic. I don't know you, but here's what I know about you based upon my own experience. You've got greatness in you. You have the ability to do more than you can ever begin to imagine. I remember driving my mother to North Miami Beach, and I knew in this neighborhood there was a house I saw, and I knew my mother. I knew she would love it. And she saw it and said, whoa, Wesley, slow down. What is it, Mama? Slow down, boy, slow down. Yes, ma'am. What is it? Oh, look at that beautiful home there and that water fountain. If I lived in something like that, I would feel like Mrs. Rockefeller. Mrs. Rockefeller, John D. Rockefeller's wife, Miami Herald wrote about her. I said, you really like that, Mama? She said, yes. And I told the lady that was driving, I said, make a U-turn, go back. Let us say together, God moment. God moment. And my mother, she talked to everybody. The lady's name was Shirley. She said, young lady, she said, what's your name? She said, Shirley. She said, I know, I heard my son call you, but what is your last name? Shirley Bannister. Mama said, whoa, Wesley? Yes, ma'am, Mama. Your godfather, Mr. Moss, told me a lady had a set of twins that she wanted to put up for adoption, but she didn't want them to be separated. Mr. Moss said, Mamie, do you want still to raise a child? And I said, yes. He said, well, there's a lady got some twins, but she won't let them be separated. You still want two? She said, yes. He said, get dressed. And he drove her from Overtown to Liberty City. And she said, Leslie, when I went in, and this lady was sitting in the back and holding you and Wesley in a light blue blanket. And she looked up, and her eyes were red like she's crying, and said, lady, are you the one? You want my boys? And Mama said, yes. And Mr. Moss helped her stand up, and she stood up, and she got close in Mama's face and said, would you take good care of them? And she said, yes. You promise not to separate them. And Mama said in a stronger voice, Mr. Moss said, yes, I promise not to separate them. And he said, she just stood there and looked at her. And she said, okay, I believe you. And she kissed us and gave us to Mamie Brown. And when Mama turned to walk out, her birth mother followed behind. And Mr. Moss opened the car door and he said, when she got in, Mama kissed us one last time. And Mr. Moss closed the door gently and drove away slowly. And then all of a sudden, he heard a scream, wait! Wait, please, wait! And he said, Mama asked, has she changed her mind? He said, I don't know, Mamie, I don't know. And birth mother came to the window and said, you promise? You promise, you swear to God you're going to take care of them? She said, yes. I swear, yes. He said, at that moment, birth mother turned and she slammed the side of the door of the car and she said, go, go. And he said at that time he drove off quickly. And Mamie Brown was living her dream. She was living her dream. I remember some reporters asked her years later when I had a talk show on television, how did you know that you could raise 7 children by yourself as a single mother? Because she took in 5 other children. And she said, I just believe that the Lord will make a way somehow. I'm encouraging you, something I learned from my mother. Whatever goal you have and dream you have, don't worry about how you're going to do it. How is none of your business. The book of life says, lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. There's some things that you can do that the mind, because we've been conditioned to be practical and realistic and logical, that we rule out for ourselves. I didn't think that corporations like AT&T, Procter & Gamble, McDonald's Corporation, and General Electric would hire me with no college training, no corporate experience. But I didn't know what I didn't know. Here's what I know. You have something special. You have greatness in you. There's some things that you can do that you don't know that you can do. And the fact that you can't see it does not matter. Eye has not seen, ear has not heard, nor has entered the heart of mankind what God has in store for you. You do what you can do, and God will do what you can't do. You were created on purpose, for a purpose, with a purpose. But we've been indoctrinated to think small. You can't fit a big dream into a small life. And I want you to think about a goal and dream beyond your comfort zone. Something that will challenge you, something that will stretch you. Why? Because in order to do something you've never done, you've got to become someone you've never been. I'm telling you what I know. I've seen a thing or two. And I know a thing or two. There's a part of you that will come forth. You got to risk. You got to walk by faith and not by sight. People say, oh, I believe it, I see it. No, if you see it, did you say you believe it? No, when you believe it, no, that's not the issue. When you believe it in your mind's eye, you see it. When you believe it in your heart, you know it. Where your heart is, there your treasure is also. What's in your heart? What's in your heart? Don't choose something just to make some money. Live a hard-driven life. I got into this business because I love to help people. That's just who I am. That's what I do. You smart. You kind. You important. There's nothing you can't do. And as you think about your goals and dreams, let us say together, it's possible. It's possible. See, it's said with conviction. It's possible. It's possible. See, I believe if anybody at any point in time had a dream and made it happen, I felt that it was possible that I could have the dream of taking care of my mother and buying her a home. I'm an old school dude. I believe a woman shouldn't pay bills. I think a man, I'm not talking about a grown boy, I'm talking about a man pays the bills. A woman shouldn't want to work unless she wants to work. That's how Mama raised us. And I believe because of my desire to take care of her, my reason, let us say together, my reason. My reason. What's your reason? What is it that drives you? What drives you? What's important to you? How many want to live a life of no regrets? Raise your hands, please. Nietzsche said, if you know the why for living, you can endure almost anyhow. What is it? Tonight, your homework. Think about that goal you want to achieve, that you're going to achieve. Call it forth. We must call forth those things that be not as though they were. Write it down. I give thanks. Whatever that goal is. I'll never forget when Shirley pulled around and she said her last name was Bannister. Mama said, Leslie, when Mr. Morse took me to see you and your brother, he called a social worker. His name was Frank Bannister. Is that your father, young lady? She said, yes. She said, your father gave my son and his brother to me. Coincidence is God's way of staying anonymous. How many of you have had something like that? Raise your hands. I was just thumbing through the yellow pages, looking for a real estate company. They don't have yellow pages anymore. Millennials don't know about yellow pages. I asked Dave, how cold is it outside? First thing, these young people do, Siri, tell me how cold it is. I say, what kind of world are we living in? Lord have mercy. And so, it's necessary that you program yourself for success. How many have been told you couldn't do something? Raise your hands, please. MIT did a study. And the study indicated that if I say to you, you can't do that, somebody else has to come along and say, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it, 17 times to neutralize that one time. That's why the book of life says faith comes by hearing and hearing and hearing. And so these CDs that I'm going to send you, as you listen over and over every day, to go past your conscious mind to your subconscious mind. And we want to share it with our children because suicide among our kids has doubled between 5 and 12. How can you decide to take your life between 5 and 12? Something's wrong with that. When I was a kid, people got bullied, but nobody killed themselves. You might come back and look for the bully that killed them. But nobody took themselves out. And I believe that what we have to do is create an environment for our children to see themselves in the future that will fortify their sense of self and give them inner strength and give their lives a sense of purpose and direction, and let them know they're molding now what they will be in the future, and interrupt the television time and interrupt the negative vision they have of themselves for being bullied, and let them know that they are conquerors, they're more than conquerors, and they can do more than they can ever begin to imagine, and that God didn't make a mistake when he chose them out of 400 million sperm, that they are a masterpiece because they're a piece of the master. And so as you think about your goals and dreams, let us say together again, it's possible.
It's possible.
When I drove up to the house with Shirley Bannister, and when we drove up, thank you, and I went around and opened the door for Mama. Mama was 78 at the time. And we started walking up to his house. Mama stopped for a moment and said, Leslie? I said, yes, ma'am. Boy, you sure you know these people? I said, yes, ma'am, Baba, I do. So we got to the door and I couldn't hold it anymore. I'd already purchased it, fully furnished. And so I put the key in the door and I turned it and I opened the door and I said, Mrs. Rockefeller, this is your home. She said, what do you mean, Leslie? I said, Mama, I bought this for you. She said, Leslie, you didn't have to go into debt and do something like this for me. I said, Mama, you didn't have to adopt us either, but you did. And she looked at me and looked at the house in disbelief, and she stuck her head in the door and said, anybody home? I said, Mama, there's no one here but us. I said, go on in, Mama. She went in and she started walking around, looking and saying, thank you, Jesus. Whoa, whoa, thank you, Jesus. She said, Leslie? I said, yes, ma'am. Well, I never knew something like this would happen for me. I said, Mama, you deserve it. And she said, Leslie, you were such a problem child. I said, I know, but I got money now. Red Fox said, money can't buy you happiness, but can make a hell of a down payment. And let me tell you something, fellas, even if you're as homeless as I am, if you got some money, women will find something cute on you. Oh, he's got eyelashes like Tom Cruise, honey. And earlobes like Denzel Washington. I used to be so broke, I walked past the bank and tripped the alarm. Creditors called the house and I had my children lie and said, my daddy say he ain't home. I learned a long time ago, the best way to get back on your feet is to miss 3 car payments. And you can't even hide that car now. my privacy like that. You don't need to know where I am in that car. Boy, this thing called life is different. They got robots that can pour drinks, make salad, make sushi. Something's wrong with that, you know? Cars that drive by themselves. I'm not getting in one. No, I need to have this myself. I'm a control freak. No way, Jose. A car coming. What do I say? Hey, buddy, are you watching us on the monitor? Something is coming at us. No. Homie, getting out there. Run. No way. It's a different time. But when you program your mind, read something positive every day, 30 to 40 pages of something positive every day to insulate yourself. Listen to the video programs that I'm going to send you to fortify your mind. Because we're taking a lot of hits right now, unlike we've ever done before. And the other thing that is important, let us say together, it's necessary. It's necessary that I monitor my mind. Yeah, there's some days I just unplug. I said, hey, I don't have the mental bandwidth to deal with this. Write this down. Don't make other people's problems your problem. No. And I found myself taking on a lot of problems that weren't mine. Here's another one. Don't make somebody a choice has made you an option. I called one of my granddaughters and told her something I wanted to do. She said, I went to sleep. I said, okay, next time you want some money, I'm going to sleep. You have to train people how to treat you. How many of you know that? Yes, and it's not what you leave for your kids, it's what you leave in your kids. Does that make sense? Yes. And how many have children? Raise your hands, please. Good. Now, here's something else. As you look at yourself, look at your goals, and look at your dreams, here's what I can share with you. You're different. Understand and know that. How many of you know people who should be here? Raise your hands, please. They're in their rightful place. Their rightful place is where their thoughts have brought them. Their true place is where their thoughts can take them. We have an entertainment-driven culture. And had Gail done the same marketing for some entertainment, it'd be standing room only. So I want you to know, it's lonely at the top. Did you hear me? It's lonely at the top, but you eat better. My brothers and sisters, they laughed at me. They're not laughing now. I sent my resignation letter in saying I'm no longer Mr. ATM. They rejected my resignation letter. They said, hell no. I'm telling you. And don't try and change people. It's a full-time job changing yourself.